In this two-person game, we're going to play a basic chord, in this case a major triad, and we're going to start with the root note of A. If you don't already know what 3 notes are in the A major chord, simply grab the key learning table and find the A on the left-hand side. Then select the basic chord stencil and find the heading Major Triad. Line up the A on the left-hand side of the folded KLT with the tonic or root note window of the major triad line. Well, triad simply means 3 notes, so for now ignore the 4th note as that refers to sevenths. The stencil tells you the 3 notes to play in this game are A, C sharp and E. We now find the C sharp and E from our Oom-Pah note cards and place them at the side next to the A for easy reference. This will be the sequence of cards both players build simultaneously in ascending order in the central composed stacks. Shuffle your cards well. To set up, place 4 cards face up in front of you. These will be your arrange columns, which you will build in descending chromatic order. Now place 8 cards face up on top of each other to your right. This is your score stack. Only the top card should be visible. Hold the remaining cards, your impro deck, in your other hand. When each player is ready, shout, "Go!" I begin by placing the A from my arrange columns into the center to start a composed stack. I fill the gap with the top card from my score stack on the right so that I always have 4 arranged columns. I quickly check to see if any of my cards can be placed on top of the others. The aim of the game is to empty your score stack as quickly as possible, so always check the top card on the right side to see if it can be moved first. Whenever I'm stuck, I count the next 3 cards from my impro deck and flip them. I then check to see if I can use the flip top card, and if not, I repeat. To know what cards I can place on the existing cards in my arrange columns, I consult the descending chromatic keyboard. In this version, we have decided to only build 1 composed stack at a time, but you can decide at the outset if you would like an extra challenge by building multiple composed stacks simultaneously. But be warned, this makes for exciting but slightly painful brain-frying fun, as multiple composed stacks means your brain has to work even harder to know what cards can go where. Again, whenever I'm stuck, I count the next 3 cards from my impro deck and flip them over to create a new top card. I then check to see if I can use it, and if not, I repeat as quickly as possible until I can move any of my cards. Meanwhile, my opponent is simultaneously doing the same thing. There are no turns in Oom-Pah. When a player has the final note in the sequence, in this case E, they place it face down to close the composed stack, and a new one can now be started. Play continues. Remember, the aim of the game is to remove the cards from your score stack on the right as quickly as possible. Any player can add to a composed stack from 3 different places: the top card of your score stack, the exposed cards of your arrange columns, or the top card of your flipped impro stack. If I'm unsure what cards I can place on the existing cards in my arrange columns, I consult the descending chromatic keyboard. When I get to the last card of my impro deck, I turn them over, take the card from the top and place it on the bottom, and then cycle through 3 cards at a time again. As we flip our cards, we are looking for a card that can be placed in the shared composed stacks, in this case an E, or any card that continues the descending chromatic scale in any of our arranged columns. There's a lot to think about, but everything you need is there for easy reference to enable a complete beginner to play with a maestro. As soon as the second A major chord is completed or closed, we can start a new one. This is the slightly slower version of the game. It is much more challenging and fast-paced when you play multiple composed stacks at the same time. Some rounds of Oom-Pah can take only 30 seconds, others can go for around 5 minutes. Each deck has 1 wild card. A wild card can be used in a game as a substitute for any other card. Once a player assigns their wild card a particular note, they cannot change it in that round. The first player to empty their score stack shouts Oom-Pah and wins that round. Oom-Pah! To calculate scores, Each player moves their arranged columns and impro deck to one side, as no points are scored from either of these. Players count up how many cards they have left in their score stack. In this case, I have 5 cards. Each card is worth -2 points, so I have -10 points. Plus, 1 point for every card I placed in the compose stacks. It's easy to know which cards in the centre are mine, as my deck was the double base. I gain 4 points, which gives me a total of -6 for the round. My opponent wins 10 bonus points for winning the round and shouting Oom-Pah, plus 7 points, 1 for each card she placed in the middle. It's important to shuffle your cards well between rounds. We can choose to repeat this game or choose one of over 1,700 different musical sequences, including scales, modes, intervals, chords, cadences, and chord progressions. Happy playing!